Good evening. Good evening, everybody. So, I'm basically just gonna wait for people to join us. Yeah, just waiting for people to join us. How are you guys doing? Hope you guys are okay. Um, miss you guys. Um, so basically, I'm on my personal Facebook page. I'm not on the Melvin Roberts Esquire page. That's where we talk about all the law discussions and talk about everything that has to do with Gambian society, and things like that. So definitely, I'm on my personal page. This is just us just having a chat and just having a nice conversation, preparing for the weekend. So basically, that's just what this is about. So I I Abai, just send a request whenever you're ready to join on. Just send a just send a request whenever you're ready to come on board. Just send a request. Anybody can call in and join this broadcast. It's just for fun. It's just, well, it's fun, but also being, it's going to be a teaching and learning moment. But just come on. Anyone that wants to come on, just come on, and we'll just have a conversation. Jeng, you can join, right? You can come. I know you have a lot of experience in these things. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read exactly what it was that I wrote on my Facebook and why this whole thing came about. So I was just thinking today. So I said something. I said let's have a discussion, and I asked the question, what truly is love? And and then I went in to say, can one be in love with a person and then still cheat on that person? So can you be in love with somebody? Can you say you really love somebody and then you go on to cheat on that person? And then I went on further to say that can people love yet not be able to be together? Now, I don't think I adequately described this part, so I got a lot of comments, but the comments were like totally different from what I was talking about. So when I say can people be in love and not be able to be together, I was not talking about separation by distance. What I meant by not being able to be together is that, like, loving somebody but you can't marry, you can't stay for the rest of your life together. That was what I was actually looking at. And then so I wrote, like, what are your thoughts, and I've got some very interesting comments, very, very interesting comments. So I'm going to read the comments. I have a Facebook friend by the name of Precious Bella. I don't know. She sent me a message and said it's a she, but I don't know who Precious Bella is. But definitely the comment from Precious Bella was so deep. So I'm going to read out the comment. Abai, I'm just waiting for you. Whenever I just send the request to join in, and then I'll just accept. So I'm going to read the comment from Precious Bella. So this is what the comment, this is what it says. It says, I believe love is when you have that feeling of genuine affection and care for an individual. Because your feelings are genuine, you protect that person and you respect them as well. However, love comes with rules or pillars, rather, that can help support it. And that is trust, respect, commitment, and compassion. Now, when you have all these feelings for an individual and that individual has the exact same thing, then it becomes magical. The feeling becomes extremely intense and beautiful. And when both parties decide to be in a love relationship, they also need rules that will protect the relationship. And those rules are trust, commitment, communication, accountability, and responsibilities. Because we've already established rules for the love feeling already, it's important to have rules for the relationship as well. And with those rules, cheating will be considered breaking some of the rules. Thus, in my opinion, you can't love someone and cheat on them. Your heart will not buy into it. Anytime cheating begins, check the odds. Likely, sorry, let me just accept a buy. Yep. So I think a buy, are you on? Yeah, it's adding. So anytime cheating begins, check the odds. Likely it's because some things or someone has snatched a percentage of that love and the feelings have shifted somewhere. And yes, love can happen even in the distance so long as the rule stays unbroken. That's my opinion of love. I felt this was like so deep. It was such a deep message that hey boss man,
Hey, what's up?
nothing much. How are you doing, sir?
I'm not doing too badly.
I can't hear you. I don't know if the audience can hear
Oh,
you. I can't hear you.
what do I do about that? Okay, let me see. One second. Is this better now? Can you hear me now?
Can you ask the audience if they can hear you? I cannot hear you properly. You're very
Can,
low.
can anybody hear me at all?
Or is it my volume that's low?
Check this.
Say something.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I don't know if
Okay,
they can hear you.
awesome. I'm sure if you can, then they can. Okay.
Okay. So what I was doing, I mean, I kept the the comment from Precious Bella. This comment got to me really seriously. It
Yeah.
it did get to me. I'm gonna read it one more time. I'll probably do it really fast this time so I don't waste a lot of time. But this is what she commented. She said, I believe love is when you have that feeling of genuine affection and care for an individual. Because your feelings are genuine, you protect that person and you respect them as well. However, love comes with rules or pillars, rather, that can help support it. And that is trust, respect, commitment, and compassion. Now, when you have all these feelings for an individual and that individual has the same exact feeling, then it becomes very magical. The feeling becomes extremely intense and beautiful. And when both parties decide to be in a love relationship, they also need rules that would protect the relationship. And those rules are trust, commitment, communication, accountability, and responsibilities. Because we've already established rules for the love feeling already, it is important to have rules for the relationship as well. And with those rules, cheating will be considered breaking some of the rules. Thus, in my opinion, you cannot love someone and cheat on them. Your heart will not buy into it. Anytime cheating begins, check the odds. Likely is because some things or someone has snatched a percentage of that love and the feeling has shifted somewhere. And yes, love can happen even in a distance, so long as the rule stays unbroken. That's my opinion of love. What do you have to say to that? And then we'll go to the next comment.
But I think that's a very broad yet very clear definition of what love is. Um, I think that it's very robust. It contains a lot of items that we can expand. But whoever this person is, he or she definitely has an idea of what they're talking about. And I can guess that they've had a lot of life experience in love and relationships. That's why they can express themselves in this way. But yes, that is a very, very good explanation of what love is.
Okay, so now, bye. You're married, aren't you?
Yes, yes, I am.
And I'm sure before you got married, you've been in this game for quite a while. You know, the whole jigsaw puzzle of love and relationships and ups and downs and things like that. Now tell me,
Absolutely. Yes.
what made you what really okay, you've had relationships, right?
Yeah.
You did not all those relationships did not translate to marriage. I'm believing I'm just assuming that you did not propose to them. Am I correct?
Correct.
What made you So okay, for example, when you met your partner, your wife now, I'm sure you didn't just see her and be like, "Oh, that's my wife." It
No,
was just
I
the
didn't.
same thing. Like you saw her, like you've seen other people before her.
Yeah.
Now, what made you make the decision that this person I'm not gonna let go of, and this person I'm gonna get married to this person? What made you make that decision? How did you come to that realization? How did you arrive at that point? Tell me.
So for me, it was not an emotional decision. It was a decision that was made from a place of understanding, understanding a few things. First of all, I understood what I wanted to accomplish in life, and I knew that the kind of person that I would need in my life to accomplish those goals. So it was part intellect and part emotion. Mind you, even before we got married, I had known her for about 5 years, and we had been in this
You've known her
relationship
for about 5 years, you said?
5 years. Yes, yes.
Okay.
So we dated. We dated for 5 years, and then we married for 11 years now. So I've known this person for quite some time.
Hmm.
So for me, it was not just an emotional decision. It got to a point where I realized that having known her for this long, she has what it takes for me to accomplish my goals in life. And I'm guessing from her perspective, she also saw that in me, there were the things that she needed to accomplish her goals in life. And this is how I spoke to her about it. I didn't do much of a romantic kind of formal kind of proposal, but we had conversations to the effect, and then we both realized that it was the best course of action. And so I made it formal. I asked for her hand in marriage. She agreed, and that was it.
Okay, okay, okay. That is blowing my mind away. So basically, if I get you right, what you are saying is that you decided to get married because you met a person who you felt would help you accomplish your goals and
Absolutely,
would be right. So it was about
absolutely.
your goals.
Not necessarily, because marriages, relationships are two-way. So if I
Okay.
felt that she was going to help me accomplish my goals and she didn't feel the same, we wouldn't be married. You see that? So I guess
So
what I
no,
saw in
what
her.
I'm trying to understand,
Yeah.
is, so based on what you said, really,
Mhm.
it wasn't that drop down love bit that you go to bed, you can't sleep at night, you're having dreams, you're
Absolutely.
shaking all over,
Ab-
sweating all over,
Absolutely
feeling
not.
cold in the Gambian sun. It wasn't like that.
None of that. You have to realize that I've known her for about 5 years. So many of those things, the infatuation,
So
those
people are saying the
butterflies.
volume is a bit low. They're saying the volume
Oh,
is a
really?
bit low. I don't think it's
Really?
from me because I'm struggling to. Oh no, when you did that, it was so clear and loud. Now, when you said
Better
really,
now? Is it
absolutely
better now?
perfect,
Okay. So that
perfect.
means I'm going to have to hold this up like this. Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah,
So, yeah, you are right. It was not the butterfly feeling, moon is coming down to my,
start
to my,
shaking. Start
none
shaking
of
like
that.
you're in the
None,
Gambian
none of
sun and
that.
you feel like, oh, I need a
No,
winter jacket,
no,
that kind
no,
of thing. No, it wasn't like that.
no, none of that. That happened in the first year. But then, sense, common sense will prevail. You have a couple of arguments, you'll have a couple of discussions, you will realize a few things about that person, and then from those butterflies, you'll settle to what is known as what I call the baseline, which is friendship, which is what I think a lot of people
Mm,
don't have in many, many marriages. You're not friends.
mm,
So myself and my wife were friends for 5 years. You cannot have
mm.
butterflies for 5 years. So
Exactly.
from that baseline of friendship, I got to know more about this person. I got to know what she's like when she's angry, when she's happy, when she's upset, when she's emotional, when she's got money, when she's broke, when she's pissed off. All those emotional expressions and all those gates that give you the ability to know deeper about the person, all these gates were open to me. And all of those gates were open to her from her end as well. And so, having experienced all of these dimensions of the individual, you get to a point where you are now ready to make a decision. And when you're
Mm,
making that decision, you have come to a level of both emotional and intellectual alignment before the decision is made. So it's not hinged on emotions only. There is both a knowledge of a knowing of that person as well as the emotions and the things that come along with being in love. So to be honest, I feel that the practicalities of love is something that a lot of us have um, discarded. The practicalities of love. And the practicalities of love basically lie in friendship and your ability to have a long lasting friendship relationship first with that individual, beyond, above and beyond everything else. If that is missing, because love is a feeling, it will come, it will go. Some days you will feel it, some days you will not just feel it. But the friendship and the practicality of the relationship keeps it going until the next day and the next and the next.
Wow, wow, wow. Dang, man. I'm speechless, man.
Yeah.
Man, I'm speechless, man. So let me try to summarize what you said. What you
Yes.
basically said is that love is beyond the physical attraction and the emotional state that two people are in, and
Absolutely.
that and that and that love is something that goes beyond the physicality. It's more of realizing that there can be something that can glue you two together, that can bring two people together, that has
Hmm.
nothing, no sexual connotations. It's got
Absolutely.
no romantic fringes attached, and
Yeah.
it's just that thing that is deeper than all these other things that come on. Because if I get you right, what you're trying to say, it's not every time in a relationship. For example, you've been married for 11 years. It's not
Yeah.
every day that you're going to have that or sexual desire or that
Absolutely.
romantic feeling or those butterflies and everything. It's not every day that you're going to have that. But
That's
what
right.
will keep you two together is basically the relationship, the wanting to be together, the partnership, the
Yeah.
the 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 the
The
the,
friendship.
the, the similarities, the friendship that keeps you two together. So that is what keeps the relationship together. That
Absolutely.
is a summary of what you've just said. So
That's correct.
basically, if I'm also getting what you're just saying, is that not necessarily like should you always, okay, so sometimes you walking down the street, you see a person like a lady, and she ticks all the boxes, she looks good, she looks beautiful and everything, but
Yeah.
that is not what really you're saying. From your description, it was way beyond that. You had to see, is this person capable of being with me when I have no money, when I'm broke?
Absolutely.
Is she going to run away when nothing is okay? If something happens and she has more stuff than you, more money than you, or probably she has a job, she's earning more than you, she's still gonna stay.
Those are the real questions.
So these are the things that one should look at, and
Yes.
not all the physical attraction and all the other things. Like, is this a person that can stand the test of time? Is this the person that can ride the waters with you? Is this the
Yeah.
person that can be there in the storm and ride the storm with you? Is that basically what you're saying?
That is what it is.
Now let's get deeper into this.
Okay.
Based on
Let's do it.
everything that you have said, based on
Uh-huh.
everything that you have said. Now, the comments that we were getting was that, loads and loads of comments, but most of them were towards the part, the fact that you cannot cheat when you love a person.
Mm.
You cannot cheat when you love a person. That if you
Okay.
cheat, it's because you don't love the person. Cheating is the absence of love. This is what I was getting. This was Precious Bella's post. That's what she mentioned. That you cannot do that. Now, tell me about, can you love a person and cheat?
Yes, you can.
Be careful, because you want to sleep well. We don't want to
No,
have
no, I
any
will.
stories
I
in
will
the
sleep very well.
newspaper that we woke up to.
Oh
We don't want
man.
anything of the situation, Bakau Stadium business, nothing like that. We don't want, I mean, I really want to wake up tomorrow morning and you're alive, you're kicking, you're well.
Yes.
So before you answer, Be very strategic. So carry on.
Yes, it is very possible for you to love somebody and still cheat on them. Now, there are two dimensions to it. Um, because, and in my many years of having these conversations with a lot of people, you realize a lot of things are hinged on emotions and feelings. And while this is good and great and a necessary component for the relationship, it is not necessarily the most practicable way to go about it. So yes, someone can actually genuinely love somebody else and still end up cheating. Now, the matter about cheating, um, I would say, will I'll break it down because it's not the same for men as it is for women.
Hey, hold on,
There's,
pause. That
yeah,
would have been that was going to be my second question. I was going to allow you to
okay,
give a general answer, and then I was going to go to the second question, which was because all the comments you're saying, both men and women are saying that basically a man can cheat and the man cheating is devoid of anything. Like a man can just cheat randomly. But what they're saying, if you read the comments on that particular thread, is that when a woman cheats, it is because that woman is emotionally connected to the person she's cheating or she's having an affair with. Now, in another sense, women would try to think that that's kind of bias. It's not fair.
yeah,
Like you're giving a free pass to a man,
to the
but
men,
you're
yeah.
not doing the same for a woman. So when you finish breaking down, can you move on to that step so that we could actually understand what really is the consensus with regards to that?
Okay, so the first thing we would come to, let's establish a baseline. The baseline that I would like to establish is that both men and women, male and female, are equal. That's number one. But number two, male and female are different. They are not the same. So there are certain things that for the female and especially for women, women are intuitive, they are emotional, they are deeper. Let me just say this. Women are by far deeper than men. Women are by far deeper than men. Women see things men don't see. Women feel things men don't feel. Women have a higher sense of intuition. Women have a generally higher sense of intelligence. Baseline, the women are far more, I personally call women natural prophets. That's the way I describe a woman. A woman is a natural prophet. There's some things a woman will tell you, and she doesn't have a logical explanation for what she is saying. And you, the man, you're looking for a logical explanation. So you ask why. But she doesn't have the answer to why, but what she's saying eventually turns out to be true. So women are by
Guys,
far
can you
deeper.
please can you please just share this video? I mean, just share this video, because I didn't do anything or say, I didn't put a flyer out because this is my personal page, but I mean, I'm learning a lot of things here, and I believe it's going to be a very teachable and learning experience. So kindly, if you can, just share this video so people can watch, listen, and learn. I mean, sometimes it's good not to come and talk about these things. It's not always about law, and politics, politics, politics. I mean, it's sometimes good to take a break and just talk about these things that we all deal with in our everyday lives. Sorry, you can carry on.
Absolutely. So I believe women are far more deeper than men. So when a woman loves, her love is deeper. When a man loves, I wouldn't call it shallow, but it's to the depth that we can. And so before a woman cheats, she has made an emotional exit. She's out of that
Hmm.
relationship. As a matter of fact, a woman will be out of the relationship at least 3 years before she cheats. 3 years. So if a woman is cheating today, she checked out of that relationship about 3 years ago, at least. So for the woman, there is an emotional disengagement that takes place before they can cheat. For a man, all the man needs to have is an erection. That's just basically what it is. So for the man,
Okay, okay. I'm not too sure. Okay, okay. I'll allow you. I'll allow you to go on. You see, all the ladies are now commenting and saying, "Very true, very true, very true." You're kind of buttering them up, but that's all right. Carry on.
No, I'm coming. I'm coming. I'll come to them as well. So, but before a woman cheats, she's out of that relationship 3 years ago. For a man to cheat, all he needs is basically a good-looking woman who is willing to do it, and he needs an erection, and he gets it done. He moves on. He returns to that woman whom he loves. See, this is the thing.
Hmm.
The man will return to the woman whom he loves. But if the woman cheats, she's emotionally out of that place. There's no return when the woman does it. But the man can do it, we call it cheating, and he still returns home, he returns to the woman. And if she finds out, all hell breaks loose because the woman is going to interpret what the man has done based on her depth, because she will put herself in his shoes and she will never understand why this man is so shallow, is not as deep as she is. And he would go out of his way to do something that she would not, in her right mind, ever do.
Pause. I need to ask a question just to make a point.
Okay.
Slowly, we have to go. We have some slow learners here. I mean, I can see Cowbalda is all over the place, but I don't think he's getting it. So for the benefit of Cow, for the benefit of Cow, let me just ask this question.
Okay.
What you basically just said is that a woman who catches or finds out that their man or their partner is cheating on them
Mhm.
would always give an interpretation as to their own state of consciousness and
Abs-
mind and thought. So, for example, if a woman finds out that their partner is cheating on them, because a woman can only cheat when she is emotionally attached to a person, the woman
mhm.
interprets it as if the man is emotionally attached, and that is why the man cheated on her. However, the
Absolutely.
distinction, however, the distinction is a man can randomly cheat, has absolutely no affection whatsoever with the person he just did whatever it was that he did with. Sometimes they don't even remember their names the next day. They see them in the streets and they're like, oh,
Mhm.
okay, like, oh, how many am I? Oh, man, fun, you know? So, but then the interpretation is that when that man is caught, the woman can only interpret it based on what she knows and what she understands. Am I
Absolutely.
am I
And
am I right? Can you elaborate on that?
that is true because the woman is deeper, and because of the depth of the woman, you see, women think men are like them. It's very interesting. So the woman will see the things from her own standpoint. And because men don't talk too much, women don't have an understanding into the nature and the psychology of the man. So she's going to interpret everything that the man does and put herself in his shoes. And when there is incompatibility, if she feels that she would have never done such a thing, then the weight is placed on the man. Meanwhile, the man who doesn't know how to talk too much, who doesn't even understand himself and his feelings, and has no control over his erections, is confused.
Oh my God. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Are you not giving a free pass to men? I mean,
Absolutely.
I can see men are now screaming and shouting hallelujah anyhow because you are giving them a free pass. What you're basically saying is that they have no control over themselves whatsoever. Is that the case,
Mm.
really?
All
Is
right.
that the case? Because if that is the case,
Mm.
is there any salvation for a man?
All right. So this is going to bring me to what I have found out is the most profound definition of love. And this is important for especially women to understand. This is going to guide the decisions of women because it's not every man who proposes to a woman who who should who a woman should accept. I wish that there were many more women on this in this conversation, so that they will have a fair understanding of what I'm about to say. Now, I define love as the peak of all emotional and intellectual achievement. Love is the peak of all emotional and intellectual alignment, not achievement. Is the peak of all intellectual and emotional alignment. So if you are rising from an intellectual place and you peak at a certain point, and you are rising from an emotional place and you peak at a certain point, that point where your intellect and your emotions are in sync, that is where your love is. This means that if you agree as a woman to marry a man who is intellectually sound but emotionally small, intellectually mature but insufficient emotional maturity, you will enter into trouble. Facts. Because of his level of emotional state, or his emotional level, which is low, he's going to make certain decisions that you with a higher emotional state will never understand. And he himself will only end up continuously explaining because he does not know that his emotional levels are low. If you marry a man who is emotionally high but intellectually low, you will still find the same problem. It will show up when you begin to have conversations and dialogue. You will realize that this man has a problem with ego. He will not accept when he's wrong. He will not accept when he's down. He will not accept anything that comes out of the mouth of a woman, even if it is to his benefit. So,
So define intellectually high.
okay,
Define intellect in
okay.
the sense that you have made that line of argument. Now, so when you define intellect and you say there has to be a peak of intellectual what was the word you said?
Alignment.
Intellectual alignment, yeah, and between the intellectual peak and the emotional peak. Now,
Emotional peak.
when
Yeah.
you say intellectual peak, what are you looking at? Because people might begin to think that intellectual peak, you're talking about formal education and things like that. So I'd just like you to be very clear, because remember,
Okay.
when it comes to the issues of love, it cuts across education, it cuts across every other thing. You know, love is just love. You can have
Yeah.
two people
Yeah.
that have never been, and they've never sat in a classroom, they've never had any sort of formal education, but they can be in love, and they of course they have emotions, they're emotional beings, so yes, they can reach that point. So can you
Yeah.
explain that further, what you really mean by an intellectual peak?
So intellect in this context is a composition of your.
They're saying that your voice is low again.
Is this better? I'm struggling with this thing right now. Is
Yeah,
this okay? Is this all right?
yeah, for me
Okay.
it's all right, for me it's okay, yeah.
I hope they can all hear me clearly. Okay. So intellect in this context has really nothing to do with education. In this
Okay,
context, intellect has everything to do with the level of understanding that the person has, the level of
level
understanding,
of understanding of what?
understanding of life and how things work. That's the best way I can describe it. A level of
Understanding
understanding
of
of
life
life
and how things work, yeah.
and how things work. Because
Mm.
you have to have an understanding of how things work before you can engage in it. If you don't know how a car works, you will engage a car and you'll have an accident. Anything that you don't know how it works, it is likely that when you engage in it, you are going to either abuse it or cause harm with it.
Mhm.
So if in this context, if an individual has a low level of intellect in this context, it is possible that this person can enter into a relationship and run it to the ground because they do not know how relationships work.
Mm.
Is
Mm.
this
Yes, 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 absolutely. That's sufficient. That's
so
sufficient explanation.
yeah. So for the man, a level of intellectual alignment and emotional alignment has to be there. He has to know how things work. He has to know how emotions work. He has to know how feelings work. He has to know how anger works, how pride works, how jealousy works, how intimacy works, how communication works. These are the things, the practical things that on an intellectual level in this context, the man has got to know how these things work. Because you will run into problems if you marry a man who does not know how to talk, who does not know how to communicate.
But
It will also
does this go both ways? Is it for both
absolutely,
partners, or is this
absolutely.
just the responsibility bestowed on the man?
No, it goes both ways. So both the man and the woman have to come to an alignment of both intellectual and emotional capacity or ability before they can engage certain things. Because in a relationship, the man will come
So
into
how
Mhm.
does a man begin to know and learn all these things? These are things that are not taught in schools.
That's a very
These are things that you don't do online courses on. So how does a person, a man, or anybody for that
anybody.
matter, begin to build capacity in that area, in that regard? Because based on everything that you have said, it means there's an acute deficiency of such in our society,
Absolutely,
especially in the Gambia. So
absolutely.
what really, how does one begin to acquire all these is it a skill?
Yes, it is.
So how does one begin to acquire these skills?
Okay, so all of these things that I've been mentioning fall in the context of social skills. So you have to make friends. You have to learn how to communicate. From the time you get into school, you have to learn how to talk to people. You have to know how the right things to say, the wrong things to say, when to say what to say, and all of these things, especially in relationships. And this is important. This is why the friendship stage of every relationship is very important, because it is in that place you would learn how to talk to this person, what to say, what to do to trigger that person, what to do to excite that person. It is in that stage. So at that point in time, when you're in your friendship phase, that is the time you learn some of these things. Because the truth is people are different. So when you enter, for example, I entered into a friendship relationship with my wife, I began to learn the ways to communicate with her. I began to learn the things that I'm going to say, or how I'm going to say what I need to say to get a result. She also has to learn how to talk to me to get a result. I know what to say to my wife to set her off, to piss her off. She knows what to say to me to piss me off. You get it? So that level of learning and understanding of the individual is very, very necessary. And if you are the kind of person that has a rich social, you are part of a rich social culture, then these things will become easy. You have friends, three, four, five friends, you go out for drinks, you have conversations, you talk about football, you talk about politics, you talk about love, you talk about law, you talk about society. All of these things improve your communication skills. You
Okay.
enter into you
Somebody just said tone of voice. Does it matter?
absolutely those
So
that's
Abai,
the
so Abai,
yeah.
I'll tell you. I mean, I'm going to speak from experience.
Okay.
You hear me when I talk,
Hmm.
don't you?
Yes, I do.
So you know my tone of voice. It's
Yes,
not
I do.
the best of, it's the most phenomenal thing. I mean, I grew up having quite a lot of beatings. I mean, my mom beat me up phenomenally, not because I was arrogant or rude, but because I have a very loud voice. And when I speak, it appears as if I'm angry, I'm being disrespectful, I'm being rude.
Mhm.
But so most of the time, if you watch me, for example, when I'm doing Facebook Live, people would tell me that, oh, but you're angry, don't get. And I'm wondering, and I'm saying to myself, hang on a minute, who's angry? Why will I be angry over something on Facebook? I'm not. But when I argue about things passionately, when I talk about things passionately, I'm heated, I'm into the moment. I have a very loud voice. Now, my tone of voice have gotten me into so much problem and trouble that at some point I used to think maybe I would pray that can I just lose my voice, because I say the same things. Oops, Abai, you've gone. But let me just finish. I say the same things that other people say, but when I say it, it's as if I'm upset. It's as if I'm angry. Faith. Hello, Faith. Hello, Faith. Faith, can you hear me? Okay, we've lost Abai, and it seems Faith cannot hear me. So I'll add James. Faith cannot hear me. So let's see. Hang on a second. So I'm just adding Manga. Faith can't hear me. So I'm gonna add Manga. Now, so basically this, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to get these people back on. Something is not going all right. Okay. Okay. So basically I've lost a buy there for a moment, and Faith couldn't come on for some strange reason. I think she's having problems with her with the VPN where she is in Dubai. So basically I was just saying, Abai was talking about the different attributes that a person should have. We're defining. I'm Dr. J. I can see Dr. J is watching. Dr. J, if you're watching, can you please come on? Faith, I can't add you. You would have to come on. I don't know how to add you. You have to send a request like you did before, and then I can accept it. But I cannot initiate it to I don't think I can. But so you have to actually send a request, and then I can accept the request. I did before, but I couldn't hear you. Okay, I've seen a request. I don't know from, okay, this is from Abai. Okay. So basically, so this is it. So we're talking about attributes that a person. Don't tell me it was Nawek, man. Was that Nawek?
That's what it was.
Oh
That's what
boy.
it was.
Oh boy, Nawek again.
That's what it was.
So
Yeah.
Abai, I was just saying that. So most times I talk. So for example, like in my relationship with my partners, if a third party is there, you would think like, oh, I'm this very abusive person, or like I'm being very rude, because the way I would say things and the way you would say things is radically different.
Yeah.
You might say it in a very soft way, in a very calm way, but the distinction is, I will scream and shout at the top of my voice, and 2 minutes after, 5 minutes after, I am completely done and dusted with whatever it was that I said. Whilst the person that said it, like, in a very quiet and calm tone, is probably holding grudges for another 6-7 months. You have to deal with that.
Yeah.
So what can you say about that? What really can you say about that?
So I would, can you hear me clearly? Is this clear enough?
Yes, it is.
Awesome. So two things. First of all, I would admonish you to consider.
Wait, hold on. Just hold on. Just pause there. Let me just see if Faith can hear me. Faith.
Okay.
Yes, Melvin.
Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yes.
Okay, I can hear you loud and clear. So just hang on there.
Yeah,
Let Abai finish. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Abai.
Okay, so
Abai, just finish that point.
So I would admonish you to reconsider your tone of voice.
Abai, I cannot anymore. At this age, I can't. I've tried everything. It's not humanly possible anymore. I gave up ages ago. I just told you. My mother would beat me up and tell me that I'm raising my voice at her when I was just talking.
Yeah, I understand.
So I know that. I know if I could have done anything to avoid those beatings, I would have done it.
Yeah.
But I just can't.
I see that. However, okay, so the second point is, whoever it is that is going to be in a relationship with you or is in a relationship with you should have that understanding. Because that is now
they do over time. But initially I always have that, oh my God, the issues.
Yeah.
Faith, don't forget to mute your call so your voiceover doesn't.
No, I'm here. I'm waiting for you, eagerly waiting to get on.
Yeah, can you mute your call? That's what I'm saying, until you're coming on.
Oh, sorry,
Can
sorry.
you
Yeah,
mute your
sure.
microphone until you're coming on, please?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So carry on about.
Yeah, I still believe that you can. It will require some training and it will require some willpower from you. However,
No, I cannot. I can't.
yes, I know you can. I know you can. I know
No,
you
I
can.
can't. I'm telling you.
Okay, well then.
Now you're telling me. The reason why I say I can't, if I
Mhm.
could have done it to avoid beatings, that was the greatest motivating factor for me to do that. It's not. Sometimes I don't even know. Like, let's say I'm sitting down and we're chatting. I get excited. My voice will be loud.
Yeah.
And I don't. It's not deliberate.
Yeah. So one of the things I've realized is your ability to self-regulate. So self-regulation comes key here. And initially, you might need someone to prompt you. I usually have, there's some bad habits I used to have. And I had friends who would prompt me when I'm in that place. So when I am prompted, then I realize that this is what I'm doing, and then I self-regulate. That is going to help. That is what helped me initially to get rid of some of the habits that I considered were not good and were not healthy for me in relationships. So the ability to self-regulate, and if you feel the need to, if it is necessary, you can get someone to prompt you. So if someone was in a relationship with you and you have that and you begin to raise your voice, the person can calmly say you're beginning to raise your voice. And from your end, once you have that information with you, then you self-regulate. It will take some time. I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight, but it is very possible that it will take a lot of time, but it is possible. On the other hand, it now becomes a responsibility of your partner to understand you and make allowance, create room for you, knowing that this is your nature.
There's a comment I just saw. I think this was my colleague from
Yes,
years ago. I mean, you remember the days of War
I
Room?
remember. Yes, I do. I
And she
do.
just commented and she said Femi does it unconsciously, even in the
In
workplace
the
in War Room.
workplace. Yeah, yeah,
I don't.
yeah,
It's something
yeah,
that I've always wished that I was just this person. I would just be like whispering, but it's just not me. I've
yeah,
tried it. I
yeah,
can't. But
yeah.
anyways, Abai, hold on there. Let's get Faith
Okay.
to come on. And Faith,
Yes, Mel. Can you hear me?
Faith. Yes, welcome to this program. I bet you're aware of the topic of discussion. We're talking about love. We're talking about the state of consciousness of love. We're talking about Abai gave a very, very interesting perspective and is now taking us through the peak of intellect and the peak of emotional state, uh, and where they meet. He describes as that is the point of love. So what is your own understanding? Because we've just also established, well, Abai has tried to put up a point which the men have been celebrating on this program and are totally happy, because Abai is saying that a man can cheat and there's no emotional connection to the cheating, and that a man does it not, they don't think, they just go on ahead and just cheat because their biological makeup is done in that way. I know you are not going to entertain that. I know that as a matter of fact. I've not heard you yet, but I know you're gonna clamp down on that theory of Abai. So let's hear you, Faith.
Okay. Thanks, Mel, for inviting me. I'm so happy. This is a topic that I'm very passionate about. First and foremost, before I go onto the love issue, I was listening to Abai talking about um, conversing with your partner with regards to the height of the tone of your conversation and everything. Melvin, you're exactly like me. When I talk loud, and people say, oh, she's fighting, she's rude, she's this, she's that. But this is my makeup. I'm not going to change it. You take it or you leave it. You understand? I'm not here to gather millions of friends. I'm gathering my truth. And that's what I believe in. So therefore, if I'm in love with you, you come to realize that I've got a loud tone of voice, you have to accept it. I accept yours. And that is understanding. We now move into the topic of cheating. If I had a boyfriend or a husband like Abai, and he went and cheated and said, well, there are no strings attached. You came and told me, you'll be on the firing squad. I swear to God, I will never, ever compromise my love with a man cheating on me. It's a no-go area. It's either me or nobody else. And that's why I don't believe in polygamy. They can do their polygamy, count me out. I'd rather be single than being in a polygamous marriage, because the problem is, especially in our society, when you're in a polygamous marriage, who suffers is the man, not the women. Because the women are tearing themselves to sitting up and down, the man is eating. They're sending things to the men because they want to be the favorite continuously. You as the man, you don't know what's going on. You're busy eating, eating, eating. Why do we lose so many young men? Why? Their stomach just swell up, bam, they die like a chicken. People don't understand. There's no autopsy, there's nothing, and you die. So that's why I don't want to get into complications. I don't believe in cheating. I don't believe or accept polygamy. Let me tell you my story, which you will find very interesting. May take time, but I want you guys to listen. I left Gambia when I was very young. My mom took me before she died. I went to Scotland when I was 17. So I was away from Gambia for a long time. Whenever I got into Gambia, it was 2 weeks holiday every year, stay in my hotel, back to Scotland, mind my business, see my friends, and go. I don't really integrate much because of the way I was brought up. O speaking. Aku, O speaking. Don't go out. I don't like nosing all over the place. I don't want to know. I don't care, because that's the way I was brought up, and that's the way I was living in Scotland. Now, I got married, and I got married to an Ivorian. The reason why was because my family kept saying to me, you're not getting married. You're so career orientated, working all the time. I said, listen, I lost my mom when I was 19, and she told me, make sure you get your qualifications before you get married to any man, because you need your independence. So because she died when I was young, I thought, well, that is a very good point. I have to adhere to it. So tomorrow, if I got a husband who left me, I can carry on with my life. I got married to an Ivorian man. I have 2 children with him, but I basically loved him 50%, and that's the truth. Because they were pushing me into marriage. So I got into this thing that I thought, well, let me try. Probably whilst I'm in it, I love the man. Okay, I go on with him, but there were no sparks. Those sparks were missing. So I looked at the whole thing. I used to sit there quietly thinking, do I want to be here till I die, or do I stay in a loveless marriage? And I thought, no, hang on a minute. I've worked very hard in my life. I'm an achiever, and I want something else in my life, because I'm that type of person. I'm a go-getter. So I thought, I'm leaving this man. I don't want to be with him anymore. I wanted sparks. So anyway, I left him. I told him, listen, I don't love you anymore. I married you on a rebound, and I'm going. And he was like, you're joking. I said, I'm going back to London. I left Ivory Coast. So I went back to London. I was with the children. Anyway, I had a boyfriend. I was fine by the wayside, a doctor and things like that, who I thought, well, he was good and all the rest, but he lived in Ghana. I was in London, so I wasn't seeing him much, so I was lonely. And then I fell into Gambia. I decided, let me come into Gambia. Probably my Gambian brother will make me happy. But unfortunately for me, it was like a pancreatic cancer. If pancreatic cancer kills people faster than, say, breast cancer or brain cancer or anything. You have pancreatic cancer, within 6 months, 9 months, you're dead. I fell into this hole. It's a mistake from 2013 to today, 2022. I am regretting in my life. If I had my life to take it back, I would reverse my life, because you're talking about love. Let me tell you something. There are economic love and there are real love. Be aware there's not just one love. I came into the Gambia from Ghana. I'm quoting dates because I don't forget. May 10th, 2013, I went into the immigration. My friend, Aisatu said to me, Faye, oh, look at that guy. He's the best dressed guy in the Gambia. And I just looked at him, why? Best dressed. Hang on a minute. You know, after living in Ivory Coast, I thought, look at the state of him. But I just went my way. Not knowing, this guy saw me because he saw the designer stuff I was wearing from top to bottom. He now went to ask about me. Let me tell you something. Before I knew, I was caught in a bunker, juju. Juju, it was like, before I knew, this guy gave me wonder juice and detached juice to drink, and I was just like in another zone. I'm telling you, this is what happened to me in the Gambia. Do you know, I used to, anyway, within 6 weeks, we were married. You wouldn't believe this.
Wow.
Yes, listen to me. I'm telling you my story. He's called Babu Kajame. Babu Kajame. This guy came to me, lied to me, told me he was a protocol officer, not knowing he used to be a messenger in interior. He went till primary 6. He cannot even write a check. You know, I got into this marriage. I started, and I thought, hang on a minute. Faith, you're a company director, 6 qualification. You find yourself with a guy who can not even write a check, who cannot string 2 English language together. You know what I mean? You tell him, come, let's dance. He cannot dance. You're in the, and you think, hang on a minute. And I keep thinking to myself, no, hang on. Am I dreaming? What's happening to me? It was like I was in a bubble. Do you know, I went with the guy to Dubai the first, listen, I went with him to Dubai the first time. He spent 25,000 pounds of my money in 1 week. This is what I'm telling you, economic love. Listen to me. And I'm warning people between both Gambia, men and girls. Men and girls. Men and girls. So I was thinking, what is going on in my life? I now realize, I thought to myself, I'm not in love. No, I'm not in love. I'm going through emotion. I'm going through emotion. And then I came to realize this guy was there to acquire wealth from me, transferring wealth from me to him and his family. Within 3 months of marrying him, his family, 2 of them, I took them to Makkah, his mother and his grandmother. I was spending money as if there was no tomorrow. I spent 900,000 pounds, nearly 1 million pounds in 1 year. I'm telling you, I went through, yes. I went through hell and back with that guy. Juju upon juju, horns buried everywhere, karnat, whatever. I didn't know. I was an aku. I wasn't brought up in that thing. I started finding strange things. You know, I used to sleep 2 o'clock in the morning. My heart will be beating, boop, 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 and I wake up in the middle of a sleep. I will kneel down screaming, Jesus Christ, to help me. What is this going on? No, knowing that, hey, but I will tell you that. But anyway, after 1 year, I woke up from my slumber. I woke up from a sleep, a deep sleep I was in. I came to realize there was some mystique going on in my life. I looked at, I equated love. I thought, fine. I didn't love an Ivorian 50%. Came to my Gambian brother. Only what the people say, tegal sumande. Lola def, the tegal sumande aksiri. You understand? And I was like this. I was going to the prayer warriors. I was bringing them to my house. You know what I mean? Please pray for me. I don't know what's going on in my life. You know what I mean? I couldn't, do you know, I will go into my office. I will sit, you know, half an hour, next minute, I'm out smoking about 2 cigarettes, come in again, I'll see a patient, consult the patient, go out, do it. And I was like, hang on a minute. I started asking questions because this is all new to me after being in Europe for so many years, cocooned in this European way. And then suddenly I'm exposed to fetish, evilism, black magic, everything was wrong. And then all he used to do with me, he'll call me, oh baby, well, the masohla hands. And I'm like, what do you mean by the masohla hands? Did you keep the money in my bag? The masohla hands. It was like this, you know. And it was like the money was just going out at this guy. And then you know what he was doing with the money? If he had taken the money and done something good with it, I would have said yes. Or none of them. As I take the plane out of Gambia, bam, another woman is occupying my bed. You understand? Another woman was occupying my bed. And so the money was all going to women. When I come to the Gambia, oh, what did you do with all those thousands I sent you? Bulma like that. Don't ask me. You know,
Wow.
this is what yes, economic love. So when you go into a relationship and you see somebody, either from a man or a woman, who wants, you have to be very, very careful with that person. If somebody comes to add value to your life, they will not ask you. They will want you. They will be there for your pain. They will be there for your suffering, and they will be there for it all. Anyway, after 1 year, I decided this guy, you know what I mean? He's a no-brainer. In 2.5 years, I was married to him. I asked him for a divorce 10 times. He refused. I went to the Qadi. He was refusing to go. Third time, I went into the safe. He ran away, went to Sweden. I opened the safe, broke it through. Adam Masamba helped me. I opened the safe, and there I saw 1 padlock and four tere. I opened the padlock. There was red thread open. I wasn't, because at this time I'd reached the wall. I thought I had to know what's going on in my life. Yeah. I opened this padlock, and I've got all the proof on my phone. I opened the padlock, puff, he opened. And then I called one sitting. I said, please come and read what is in the tere. He said, this is not karna dile. Fofulen teje sa bopa bi rap. Japala rap. You know? And so the next thing they did was, I opened the tere. The tere said is, so that whenever he asks you for money, whatever money you will give to him. I thought, this is wickedness epitomized.
Absolutely.
You work hard for your money in that cold, rain, sunshine, everything. You have one man who comes and gives you a portion to drink and then kidnaps your life and is running your life like a joystick just to grab wealth. I swear to God in heaven. I swear to God in heaven, the God that we serve. That period of my life, 2013 to November 2020, to November 2015, 18th of November 2015, when I divorced him, Bundum Kadi Court, was the worst period of my life I've ever encountered. It's a bitter taste in my life of love. That is why I am telling you. You're talking about love. That is a bitter love. Because there was no love. All it was is grabbing money to go and show off. I bought my Bentley in the Gambia. I was the first person to have a Bentley in the Gambia. You know what happened? I want to drive my Bentley. He tells me you cannot drive it, but he'd rather give it to women. Driving it in the Gambia, I work hard to buy my Bentley. This is what I went through. That is what they called economic love. But to cut a long story short, I cannot go through all of this to tell you the pain I felt for being married to Babu Kajame. It was a bitter, bitter, bitter pain. Hell on earth. And you see him in the street, he's got cruz in his hand. Every 5 minutes, he's knocking his head on the ground. Every 5 minutes. But he is as bad as Shaq. Evilism personified. That's what he's like. Forgot about him. I thought, I don't want any Gambian men again in my life. I swore to the Bible. I said, Gambian men, I don't, because it was a bitter, bitter pain. I refrained from men for 3.5 years. I had so many of them. Oh, Faith, Lala. I say, hey, what I'd been through hell and back. But anyway, as it so happened, God works in a mysterious way. I met my soulmate, who I'm married to now, love of my life, 2018, and a Gambian, who I swore I would never marry, a Gambian. But then I fell into another one. And so I'm married to my darling since 2018, and which is nearly 5 years now. And I'm so happily married. I now realize what love is about. I now realize what is love. Love I never got from my first husband because I didn't love him. Babukar, which was hell on earth, which was not love, but economic love, material wealth being transferred to him, greedy, want, Mr. I want everything. Now I've got my darling Habib, who he doesn't want. He lives with me. He takes me as I am. I am loud. He knows that's the way I am. He can see how I work, my work, what it's about. That is the reason I'm vocal like that. Because I speak to so many people, just like Melvin. I'm forever on my phone, speaking to my staff, do this, do that, do this. So he's come to study me and realize that, yes, my wife is not a quiet woman. This is what makes her tick.
Yeah.
But then when I put the phone away, I'm a different person. I become Mrs. But I also came to realize that, you see, this feminism, independent woman, and all of the thing, you have to go back to the Bible. You have to go back to the Quran. Genesis, what does he say? When God made man, he wanted to make a woman. He took the rib of a man and made a woman. Why is there a prefix in woman, female, all of these things? There's always a prefix. So you have to sit and digest and understand what is a woman vis-a-vis a man. So I came to realize that we are second to men. That is the way God made it. If any woman wants to say they are parity with their man, you're looking for trouble. You are looking for trouble. My husband, I forget work. I'm the director at work. I come home. I am a wife and I'm after him. Habib is number one. I'm number two. He tells me what to do. I do it. I want peace of mind. I do. Okay, sometimes I will challenge him because that bossy nature of mine will come through. But then I'll come to realize that, yes, no, hang on a minute. He's my husband. If I want peace, bumabuga jama sumase. Let me just calm down. You know what I mean? Put all the tools down and listen to my husband for me to have a long marriage. And thankfully, he understands me. I understand him. We don't talk about money. Money pays the bills, yes. But money is not number one in the marriage. What is number one in the marriage is make peace and make love and not war. Make peace and not war. So therefore, this is how we run our marriage. And I keep my eye on him and make sure they don't grab him from me, because they're very good at grabbing men, these Gambian women. So therefore, I am watching every one of them. Listen, I'm not scared to say the truth. Only the truth shall set you free. You understand?
Absolutely.
So therefore, my man is my man, and that's it. I love Habib. Habib loves me. Period. Kuma buga jel suma jekar matega you know. So anyway, me, I've said that. If you have another question, Melvin, I'm ready to tackle you on this platform.
Okay.
No problem. No problem.
Mute your microphone now. Abai, that's the one and only Faith Cole. You've heard that, and Mune Kubuga jail her man.
She has declared war.
She has declared war.
Yes.
That's the phenomenal Faith Cole. Now, Abai, you listen to Faith, yeah? Yes. What's your take from what she said?
So, first of all, whenever I hear stories like this, I make it a point of duty to apologize to the woman for the presentation that the man has made. These kinds of people, we find them in society, but they are not the definition of anything. They are the definition of a poor quality human being who has no place in anybody's life. These are the kinds of people who are not even supposed to be in relationships with anybody. And it is proof that that is the case when their only way of getting someone in their lives is to use marabou. That's the proof. Because no woman in her right mind, without the influence of marabou, will see such a man and will marry him. So the only kind of contract that a woman would enter into with such a man is an economic contract that will be qualified or dubbed as love. So I want to apologize to you and every other woman who's going through such a thing with such a man. So as that is out of the way, the next thing I'd like to tackle I like to say that that kind of relationship is not, it's not the, how will I put it? It's not the example. It's not the ideal situation. And many times when we're
Amy,
having these
Shail, and
discussions,
Bensouda, can you call in? Would like to get your expertise and idea on this. Amy, Shail, and Bensouda, if that's all right with you. Carry on, Aban.
yeah. So anytime we're having discussions like this, we're looking at an ideal scenario, and any scenario that involves marabou or any form of coercion that does not include the will of the other party is not an ideal scenario. It's not an ideal situation. So unfortunately, you encountered such a man and such a scenario. Um, I apologize on behalf of all the sensible, reasonable, intelligent, emotionally mature men. These are not the kind of guys these guys are not in our batch. No, they're from somewhere else. The second thing I would like to do is to clarify, because you it sounded as though I gave a pass to men to cheat, but this is not the case. What I intended to do is to create a baseline that would be our understanding with regards to relate with cheating going forward. This does not mean that the man is free to cheat. It means that the responsibility of the man is doubled. He now has to evolve and grow beyond the basic primitive animalistic state of chasing everything in skirts. The responsibility is now placed on the man to evolve, to mature, to grow, and become at par with a woman who is emotionally and intellectually sound before they enter into a relationship. If you remember when I started, I said I was speaking directly to women and telling women the kinds of men that they should look out for. If you remember correctly, that was how I began. And my intention was to expose the nature, the basic nature of the man, so that the woman can know and pay attention. So whenever someone approaches her with relationship, she would use these measures to judge if the man is fit to be in a relationship with or not. So men don't get a free pass to cheat. If you're a man and you think
Okay,
this
can
is a
I
free
just
pass,
come in?
yeah,
Can I just
yeah,
add something there?
yes,
You know, you're talking about free passing to cheating.
yes.
Do you know what stops your man from cheating? Majority of the time, it's not 100%. Yeah? You're a woman.
Mm-hmm.
When you marry a man, don't let yourself go. The attractiveness that he saw in you in the first place, continue to maintain that even if you have children. Begal Sajika, be submissive to your man. Your man needs you, attend to his needs. If you give your man everything that he wants in bed, you don't fight with him daily. You don't go and look for problem for him. That man will never leave you and cheat. Give him all he wants. Bula ko defe nga defatiko. Bula dore nga dorko. You understand? That is what keeps your man in your bed, firmly in his place. But you want the man comes and then you start fighting with him. Or you ngai chibu, ngai indi I kanam, ngai indi I attitude. You know what I mean? Or you're supposed to be the company director. He's an employee. Okay, fine. You earn more money than him. You want to show him that, oh yes, I'm the boss lady here. And Lala, no, hang on a minute. In marriage, there's no boss lady. You know what I mean? You have to be submissive. If you want to maintain your marriage for longevity, you must be submissive. Give your man what he wants and make sure don't put fire in the house. You put fire in the house, there's somebody out there waiting to take him from you to give him a cool bed. And when he goes, if that person does better than you, you have lost your man and you brought trouble. And then now you'll be running, oh, he's ungrateful, man mako defali, man mako defali, and whatever they say, you know, and you expect your man to say, hey, wake up, don't do that, calm down. Me, my intention is either I bury my husband or I bury him, because I have no intention of letting him go. You know what I mean? I've had enough of marriages. I found that I've got my best mate and I intend to stay with him. So that's my advice. Cheating in a man, you may have tendencies to cheat, but you have a soulmate. Make sure you retain that soulmate and he will stop cheating. Carry on, Melvin.
So
yes.
Yeah, I just want to read a comment for you. It says, some men will still cheat even after you give them the whole wide world. What do you have to say to that?
Absolutely.
No. Let me tell you something. They wouldn't cheat. If you come to your husband and you're like a wood lying in the bed and you think you've given him, how do you equate your wood and somebody who's swinging from one corner to the next? You know what I mean?
God.
How will you equate it? You may think you are good. You may think you're good, you're doing everything, but somebody's better. Why are Senegalese women so good? The way they talk to their husband, the way they wash their feet, the way they serve their food, the way they do things to them. You know what I mean? You get one of these who does that to you, your head will turn 360 degrees and you're thinking, what the hell have I got at home? What the hell have I got there? Hang on a minute, this is nicer. So therefore, you must spice up your relationship continuously, looking at new avenues to make it better, new avenues to make your husband happy. If you mean you're running after him, run after him because you're married to him. If it was a boyfriend, fine, you don't give a damn, he can go. But when you're married to somebody, the moment you've had your matrimonial vows, then you must make every effort to retain that man. And calm, no fighting, peace, peace, peace. You have children, children have their time, husband have their time. Do not mix children with husband. You must give your husband his time. If you spend all your time looking after children, neglecting your husband will neglect you and go into somebody's arms. That's what it is. That's my belief.
Okay.
And this is my motto. And I'm teaching,
Faith,
I'm teaching these young girls to hear that.
Faith, what you have explained is very correct. Very correct. But again, I would not want for us to put the bulk of the responsibility on the woman to maintain the home. I strongly believe that there is a level of maturity that every man must come to the place where the man decides that whether this woman I am married to is giving me her best or not, because I have decided to commit myself to this woman, I will not cheat on her. I believe that every man should grow to that level. Actually, this is the peak of intellectual and emotional alignment, when the reaction you're getting from someone does not dictate the actions that you would take. So regardless of whether your wife is cantankerous, she's stubborn, she's unwilling, she's not good in bed, or whatever it is that could be the excuse, above and beyond that, you have decided as a man, from your place of intellect and from your place of emotion, you have made a
yes, but if you have a wife,
as a man,
you're going to marry a wife.
You will not cheat on.
Okay, let me tell you. You're going to marry somebody. Initially, what is a relationship before you marry them? They show you their best sides. Men can show you their best side, women can show you their best side. You don't know who they are until you live together in a home.
True.
And then they start manifesting tendencies that you don't understand. And the moment they start manifesting tendencies, this is where communication comes into. When you communicate to try and iron out all those problems, if one person, but you know, in Gambia, let me tell you something which you don't have in the European world. There are too many interferences in the marriage. Too many interference. Yodenga say, amal yep langa muna amal ker, amal moto, amal li, jela nangu li, la. Interfering from family members who are constantly in your ear. You understand? They're constantly in your ear. And so therefore, it turns up people, it causes problems within a marriage. And if your marriage is not spiritually sound, you know what I mean? You don't pray together and things like that. Absolutely. Your marriage fails because you have these evil doers who come in, and what do they want to do? They go to the serene to break your marriage. Dedale.
Yeah.
They are very good. You know the serene in the Gambians, they're the high earners. The traffic jam at the serines are terrible. Queues to get in there to go and destroy.
Yeah.
They are high earners. If you get a serene who you charges say $3,000 each visit, you get 10 people, that's 30,000. 30,000 times 7. How much is that?
But Faith,
you see what I mean? That is what causes a lot of problem in Gambian marriages.
Yeah, but Faith, can I come in now?
I'll
Faith,
Go
also
can
on,
I
like
come
to
in now?
comment as well, Mel.
go on, go on.
Yeah.
Yes, Faith.
Yes.
I understand where you're coming from. But what I also know, as a matter of fact, talking from a position of a man, is that a man can still cheat where you offer him every single thing in that relationship or
Ah,
marriage.
me did
It
I
is,
not
That's
join
it
true.
is,
that.
no,
I
no,
not
no,
join
no,
that.
That's
Faith,
very
Faith,
true.
Faith, hang on. You not join
That's true.
that. You not join that from the position of a woman. I agree.
That's right.
But what I'm trying to explain to you is that a man can have everything. A man can have the most beautiful partner. A man can have a partner that respects them, that cares for them, that does everything. They can tick all the boxes, and that man can still go out and cheat. And it's got nothing to do with what he lacks in that home or in that relationship or in that partnership. That is the honest reality, talking to you from a man's perspective and a man's point of view.
You know what I've
This
told
is
my
very,
husband?
very true.
No,
No, no,
that's
no,
fine.
no,
No,
regardless.
that's
No,
fine.
hang.
No, that's
No, no,
fine.
hang on,
You can
Faith.
go
No,
and
wait,
cheat.
wait.
Hang on. You can go and cheat. But me, I've told my husband, I am not ready to die of a heart attack. So therefore, if you want to go and have somebody else, please just come to me and tell me, darling, please, I've seen somebody else. I want to go. I said, fine. I opened
Yes,
the
but
door
the
and the door.
reality is, yes, hang on, but Faith, the
Uh,
reality is, regardless of what you have tell that man, even if you tell him that go and cheat and come back, I will electrocute you, that man will still cheat. So
But
yes, you
I
can
moved
tell him
out.
everything. No, hang on, Faith, hang on. Just wait. Let's just try to establish something. That you are talking from the position of a partner, from the position of a wife. You are
that's
talking
right.
from the position, you're talking from the position that, okay, I've done everything. I'm taking care of my responsibilities. I'm doing everything that I'm doing. Let me give you a scenario. It's like you having that child, that you have provided everything for that child. You have brought up that child in an environment where you believe you have instilled values, you've given them opportunities, you've basically shown them the way, how you want them to be. But the
Yeah.
tendency, the possibility of that child straying away and developing other things, picking up things from outside, that it does not mean that you as a parent have failed. It does not mean that there's an absence of something in the home. So
Absolutely.
you can liken a man to that sort of situation. And, and the reality is, there is no woman alive that I know that can sit and brag and say that, you know what, oh, I've given my man everything, he's not going to go out. Most times, the men that you think don't go out, the quiet ones, not the ones that are loud like me and Abai, the ones that sit at home and hold the kurus and do everything, they are the
Hey,
men that they are the men that can cheat on you and your grandfather put together times two and buy you a bottle of Coke, and you're celebrating, you're not knowing it's probably the cheating partner that he came from that bought you that Coke. So the
that's
honest truth
Babuka
is,
with the
you see,
cruise every day, 5 times a day.
well, anyway, we're going to welcome
No, no, I know.
our
Let me just
wonderful.
finish. I'm not going to talk again. I'm
No,
not
Kate,
going to
no, Faith,
speak.
hold on.
Well,
Faith, hold on. I don't want you to go. Just hold on there. Let's welcome Ami Shailon Bensouda. She's here. She's gonna give us her own perspective to this discussion that we're talking about. Welcome, Mrs.
Well,
Bensouda.
thank you. Good evening, listeners. Um, and I would like to say hello to Faith. Uh, Faith is it's just amazing. I can't help laughing, but also just acknowledging. And I would like to say, Faith, that I'm sorry that you had to go through that. Um, I'm really no woman, no man deserves that. And Melville, I knew you were going to put me on the spot. I can tell you that when it comes to matters of the heart, I don't think I'm an expert. Um, but definitely I have had my fair share of experiences, and I think we can share as much as we can. For me, I think a lot of us, especially Africans, but most definitely Gambians, we have been conditioned a certain way and how what our roles or gender roles are. I think if we go back to our grandmothers and great grandmothers, we were taught to be submissive, be of service, and quite frankly, I don't see anything wrong with that. But those are based on our cultures and our norms and our traditions. and some of it has to do with what our belief systems are as far as religion of what love is. I don't think growing up we were ever taught what love really is. What do you expect? Um, and so navigating through that, I think we've learned throughout, different experiences. And for me, what I've come to find out, and actually knowing myself and knowing what it is that I want and what my expectations are, is that number one, love does not hurt. Love is unconditional. Love is forgiveness. Love is understanding. Um, Love is respect. My biggest belief is that you cannot love what you do not respect. You cannot love what you do not value. Now, do we have human traits? Do we have our individual choices and preferences? Absolutely. But I think reading books, some of the things that I think, I read, I'm always reading, seeking knowledge, right? Understanding what a male language is, understanding what a female language is, because definitely, genetically, we're all human beings, but I think they will have distinctions that makes us female, and then we have distinctions that makes us, you know, male. And so communication is key in any successful relationships. Understanding role, absolutely. People go into relationships and not understanding that there are roles to play. And my role as a partner, my role to my husband is it's every day, Melville. Every day I ask my spouse, what can I do to make it better for you? Every day is not
Mhm.
the same. Every situation is not the same. Sometimes emotionally I am not all of there, but he recognizes that and understands and notices me through that. Love is communication. We talk our issues out. And this is where really communication is key into building a successful relationship, building trust. But a lot of times when we get into relationship, if we all go back to when we find that person that we feel like we are into and they are into us, those feelings, that euphoria, those butterflies that we say. So, there's a primal thing about humanity. We are, there's the hunter and the prey. But we get so comfortable and so complacent in our relationships that we don't date our partners. You have to date your wife, whether you've been married 20 years or so. And it's just not, for me, based on my exposure. I plan date nights. I plan, you know, dinners. I plan travels. I plan trips. I plan activities. Even if it's just working out together. I plan spending time together, but I am not clinging. I give my man space to be his own person, and I am my own person, right? So I can follow my dreams, so I can follow my goals. He is very supportive, you know, and we have to keep that. It's not just the superficial and shallow things in a relationship, but really how to be able to. I get bored pretty easy. Anybody that knows me, if you can hold a stimulating conversation with me, forget it. There's no way we can build further than that because I am very curious. I ask questions, and I am my own woman. But I have my own dreams. I have my own goals. I understand that it's not the same for some of my Gambian females, but I have my own identity. I have my own job. I have my own money. I have my own things where I am comfortable and I am empowered to do that. And he's supportive of me of that. And I am supportive of him with his goals. And so we have two people that we bring together as one. But I don't lose myself in that relationship. And I don't want like being overbearing. You know what I mean? We have our alone time and our space time because I like to sit quietly in my space and learn about myself. And so it's easy to love the person that I love because we have an understanding, we have respect, we communicate, but we also encourage each other, we empower each other. Where I am going to differ with Faith in the fact, in this notion that you do all of these things, you keep doing all of these things and do it the Senegalese way with the bin bins and the jellies and churais and all that stuff. It's gonna keep your guy in. Ask those women that their spouses have cheated on them. Everybody has the tendency to do that. Not only men cheat, women cheat also.
Absolutely.
Okay,
That's
can
right.
I ask a
That's
question?
right.
You've just said something, and I want you, because when we started this program, Abai was talking about love, and Abai was just breaking down the emotional state of women and men. Now, you just mentioned that it is not only men that cheat, and women do cheat. But from the perspective of Abai, and from the perspective of so many of the people that were on this live feed and their comment, is that a man can cheat just randomly. A man doesn't have to have a reason to cheat. Just like you just said, you can provide everything. You can have all the bim bims, all the churai, all the everything, but the man will still go out and cheat. A man does not have to have a reason to cheat. But what we were saying, or the consensus, was that when a woman cheats, that woman is emotionally attached before a woman can cheat. Now, what is your position on that? What is your position on that one?
Absolutely.
And secondly, the second question I wanted to ask is, if anybody finds themselves in a relationship or a marriage where a woman has cheated on the husband, would you recommend for that person to continue to build on that relationship, on that marriage? Or you feel that once a woman cheats, that woman has to be emotionally detached from that relationship or marriage, and the woman is connected to the cheating or person or whoever she is cheating with emotionally? What is your take on that?
Okay.
I will
So
answer as well after
for the
Antoinette. Yeah.
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 So for the first question, yes, uh, women women cheat. Again, I will agree with the gentleman what he said. We are emotional beings. Men are physical beings. I think I can't find the right word for it. When women, even when it comes to having a sexual intercourse, women do that with emotion. And so a lot of these things, like when women cheat, sometimes I think they have not gotten into knowing who they are, knowing what they want, knowing what they desire, because they have made a commitment into a relationship that something is lacking. And I'm not saying that that's the fault of the other spouse, but they have not gone into all of those spaces as a woman to understand what it is that they need. Because I would rather just call it off. But then my level of confidence is there enough to know that if it's not working for me, I'm checking out. But then people don't just get up one day and cheat. It is a process. And people think that physical cheating, meaning leaving your spouse or your partner and then having sex with another partner, is cheating. Cheating can be emotional. People usually check out a long time before they physically go in and do the act. You know, it could be, and this is why I'm saying that the respect. If you value something, if you respect your partner, now do those tendencies happen? I have seen guys, and I'm like, oh wow, they look good. But that's it. I have enough self-awareness to control myself and know that I respect the man that is standing next to me, that I will not, you know, further just push that thought. It happens. We all see things that we are attracted to, even though we have partners. It's humanity. We can't be blinded by that. But also, we have to respect ourselves, respect our partners, and know that we have made a commitment to A rather than B. So, emotionally, women sleep with men. Emotionally, women are just driven by whatever emotions. But men are very shallow and physical. And man doesn't have to be in love with you to have sexual intercourse with you. They don't. And they can do it over and over again and go back to the woman that they love. So, and this is what I'm saying. Love is not just the physical part
So,
of things.
so how would you equate the women that do that with regards the culture of Mbaran in Gambia?
So and that is very distinct, and we can differentiate that. Sometimes, if I mean, prostitution has been it, have been around since time memorial, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There is a need. Sometimes women will give their bodies and reduce themselves to certain situations or certain behaviors to survive. When we address these things, again, like I said, we have to address the poverty. We have to address confidence, giving our children confidence, raising them to know who they are. If you have a girl child, if you have a boy child, it starts from home. Sometimes you see parents who will coerce. Back in the day, dañ daan wax ne su tàkkusaan jotee nga sanse def sa jaba jaba si mbedd bi di nga taseeg waaju baax. So it is a program. It is a absolutely. It is a program. It's a way of life, you know. So they may sin dar dari like bu tàkkusaan jotee da nga sangu ba set def sa fudan defaru ba mbaax nga jaagar jaagari doxantu xëj na di nga taseeg waaju baax. It is a culture, and it doesn't mean that go and prostitute yourself or whatever. But then again, women have been objectified also, like to look a certain way, to behave a certain way, and that is the love language. It's not for everybody. I mean, churai is not for everybody. The beans is not for everybody. Some women prefer flour. Some men prefer a warm cooked meal, right? Some women prefer short hair, long hair, tall, short. The choices are vast, but we have to understand who we are and in our core, be confident enough to know what it is that we want out of relationship before we even venture into relationship. Our culture also encourages that at a certain age you have to be married. You know, there's not emphasis on being independent, having your own, being your own boss, having your own money, and making those decisions later on in life. Then Allah has to Allah, hey, rakam yep saying and momu fi tok di, then ko uta rekum di. So there's a lot of pressure also on women. But also
From the
there's certain
community.
there's also certain expectations of that is of a man also, right? Mungi vi reta hawalo rek, amut kir, amut, all of these things that society has put on our menfolk, that or even it can't be about thinking about your future. It has to be about the Maybunjeka, all of these big money and things that you have to give to the family to be able to secure a wife. But they're not thinking about down the road you're gonna have a family, a young family, you're gonna have kids, you wanna build a house, maybe you wanna, put some savings for your kids' education and all that. So we're not thinking long term. But we do this, and then it's the big party, everybody comes, invited or not invited, and it's a wahala. Before you know it, those expectations are not going because you're trying to impress the other party. All of these things that come into, rather than building a young family up so that they are successful. There's a lot of social pressure. Now, the second question is, if you have a wife that is maybe has cheated, or a husband that has cheated, would you stay in that relationship, or how do you navigate that? And again, it's individualized, right? It is what it is.
No, I was asking that question specifically for women in the context.
Okay.
The rationale for that question is because if at all the consensus is that women are emotional beings, men are just anything, and men will just do anything, and that
Like they know the men are
Don't put it that way.
because
Well,
Abai called us animals. He said we have to leave our animalistic ways. I heard that.
but we can't. But we can't. Nature, our DNA, nature has created that, and it will never fail. We all have it in our genes. Men have that predominantly. They are the hunters.
But can I talk?
So now,
can I talk from an
that is embedded in our DNA. Okay, that is embedded in our DNA. It is much more aggressive because you have the macho male and the male dominancy and all that stuff. Now, I mean, just think about it. A man can have a woman that they maybe not all that into, or maybe not be that into you, but the moment another man starts talking to that woman, they feel a certain funny. You see that dominance come out, right? Even though they'd rather leave that woman and go and cheat on her. But as soon as another man comes into their territory, meaning they have already marked their space, they don't welcome they don't welcome another man. And so those are these, like, I feel like those are the instincts that are there, that animal instincts, right?
Okay.
When you mark your territory, just like the lions will do, lions will have a lot of in their,
So you're really cementing the animalistic traits.
I believe we are. I believe we are beings, and we just don't come. Like, what is
now,
our love language? Kissing, having sex, and having kids.
So now the golden question is, if a woman cheats, either in a relationship or in a marriage, taking into context what we now know, that they are more program beings, they're emotional, they think through, they just don't get up and do things, they have to be emotionally attached. You mentioned about a woman, before they actually do the physical cheating, they have been
They've
disconnected.
checked out.
They've checked out ages ago and stuff like that. So do you feel that in a relationship or in a marriage where cheating has occurred, in the instance of the female partner, that relationship or marriage can continue? But before you answer, is it possible for Cecilia Goddard Njai to tell us what the 3-second rule is? I don't know. I've never heard about that 3-second rule, but she did mention that. I'd like to know what the
Yes.
3-second rule is. So if you can answer that, and then we'll get to Faith. Faith wants to give the Aku perspective. But if you can just give
Okay.
your answer to that. Should you or can they still maintain that relationship after cheating is occurred?
Is that for me?
Yes, for you.
Yes. I mean, it depends on the partners, right? It takes two. Some are successful in rebuilding and some are successful in forgiving. But I see down the road they have to put in a lot of work because trust has been broken. And for me, if there's no trust, let's just forget it. And then it takes time to rebuild, get back to that place. And now when they get back to that place, it is not going to be as it was in the past because emotionally things have happened. And once they get back there, there's going to be a lot of work, meaning maybe therapy, maybe just talking and doing a lot of things. But some have tried and it ended up failing because what is happening is that if you find an immature partner, they say, well, you've cheated, then I'm going to cheat too. And then I'm going to go out there and do these things because you've done it and I've forgiven you. And so people start holding each other hostage for bad behavior. Just because one spouse has done it doesn't mean that it's okay for you to do. And for me as a woman, if it gets to that point where I don't have enough respect for myself or for my partner, that I'll just check out. I mean,
Just check out.
I will just check out because it's just a slippery slope that if you're not really strong, you have to work twice as hard before the cheating. And I mean, it's hard work. Love, being in a relationship is work. People think that, okay, I've landed a girl, I've landed a man, and then that's it. There's no work. And I'm not talking about even in the sex department. I'm talking about the emotional day-to-day being, space. How do you support, nurture that relationship? It has to be nurtured, just like you build anything, right? The maintenances have to happen. The love language, knowing your partner's love language. A lot of people don't have that love language. For us females or for us men, at least, I mean, women, for the majority of us, making love or having sex doesn't start just at the initial part. It starts like in a day. I'd like to be wooed, I like to be romance all through the day. And emotionally, I'm releasing these hormones and I'm ready for that part of the love making, right? And it's just not like, oh yeah, okay, boom, hello, nakam naga, acha, let's go. It I'm sorry, it doesn't work like that. It's the small little notes, it's the small little text. It's just running a bath. It's the flowers. It's just calling. It's just holding hands. It's just the hugs and all that. Getting that person ready, and that's it. But we have been conditioned. It's like acharek, and then you're supposed to be acha. Get it ready.
Faith.
It's not like that. But also, if I'm not shy enough to ask for what I want, and a lot of times it's mostly men that initiate certain things. I feel like women should be able to initiate things also in the areas in the bedroom. It makes our men feel wanted. It makes them feel valued. It makes them feel needed. Men need to feel needed. I don't know. Again, I can't give the term for what that is, but you can plan these little romantic things for your man. Run his bath, give him a massage. Do his hair. Do things. Just spending that intimate quality time. I feel it's important for a successful relationship. It's not a one-off goal. Every day you have to resign the contract. Every day you go to bed, you sign a contract for the next day. That's how I see it. It's not just like I have the long shot because I don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. But every night I make time. Cell phones are off.
the bedroom. I don't even have a TV in my bedroom. And that is just time for me and my spouse to talk. And I talk about my day, listen to him talk about his day. Sometimes, you know, our men have been conditioned and taught that they should not emotionally express their feminine side. I use that because, like, their emotions, like we say, our men, they should be able to cry. You should be able to hug your man. They should be able to let out those emotions. They should be vulnerable. And that doesn't mean that you see less of them or disrespect them, but they are being vulnerable with you. And that should be cherished. Those are moments that you build those kinds of relationships and intimacy. And intimacy doesn't necessarily always mean sex. Okay?
Okay.
So
Thank you very much. Thank you,
Thanks a lot.
thank you, and
that's my
I've
thank you
heard you
again.
well. I've heard you very
Now,
well. I'm itching.
now we're
I'm
going to
itching.
get Faith
I'm itching.
to give a perspective. She says she's got an Aku perspective, whatever that means. I don't know what that means. Faith, let's hear you.
What I mean by the Aku perspective is I was listening to her. She was talking from the Muslim culture of their marriage, or wolof or whatever. That's how they do theirs. We do ours differently. When a couple goes to the church, because remember, from a Muslim perspective, the couple doesn't go to the mosque. But from the Aku perspective, they go to the church. Both of them are standing at the altar facing to say we're facing our God and we're taking our vows. When you take your vows, and this comes to cheating, barang, as you say, with my body I did give. With my body I did give. It's telling you, I'm giving you my body and nobody else. For better, for worse. Yes, for better, for worse. That means that if your husband doesn't have, that doesn't mean you have to go out cheating, looking for money and selling your body. You have to be able to be patient because it's a law of gravity. What goes up must come down. What goes down must come up. It can never stay the same. So patience is a virtue in marriage. When you do marry, you are giving advices in front of the congregation and in front of the presence of God. God is not there, but he's omnipresent, you know, and this happens. I do not believe if I was a man, my wife goes out and cheats. As she comes, the moment she comes in, she's out of the door as fast as she came in. Because as a woman, you have to respect your body. You cannot be throwing your body willy-nilly in every place, in offices, hotels, whatever, just because of financial gains. It's not fair. If you do not want the man, tell the man, listen, I do not want you anymore, please, I'm going. But do not go sitting with a husband. You go out, cheat, and then you come, you want to sleep with the same man. Come on, Faith. Come on, Faith, your body. Is your body not sacred to you? Is all those fluid entering your body? Can you not think of them in chemistry? Two different sperms entering your body. What comes out? Smell.
I wish we lived in a perfect world, Faith.
You know, no, but look, no. You see, no. What is, if you say you are in a religion guides you. Your 10 commandments is in the Bible and in the Quran. You have to work by those ways daily.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, go on.
Now, I just want to ask a question.
Yes.
I am an Aku, just like you're an Aku.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Faith, you've mentioned Amy's perspective, and you've reduced her perspective to her cultural background and her religious setting. Okay? Now, Faith, can you tell me that the Akus don't cheat in marriages?
I was
hang on. Let me ask my question.
I was coming there, question.
But let me ask my question. Let me finish my question, and then you can just take it on. The first is, can you say that the Akus don't cheat? What happened to all that when people say, when Akus say, oh, this is my half sister? How did that half come into it?
But hang on, you don't allow me. You didn't allow me to finish.
No, but allow me to ask my question. Allow me to ask my question. Allow me to ask my question, and then you could get the perspective of where I'm coming from. All the people that you see referring to, I mean, half sister and I mean half brother, is because some man in some marriage went out and cheated. The same man that
Yeah.
you're talking about that stood in church to say, my body I give to you, my body is yours, your body is mine, for better, for worse. They are the ones that even cheat more than the people that you are referring to. And let me tell you, Mbaran is not limited to just the Wolof people or just people of a
No, it's
different
a
culture.
language. It's a language.
Now I am seeing that even Aku people are engaged in Mbaran. Muslim, Christian, everybody is engaged in Mbaran. So carry on, Faye.
And what do you call it? Melvin, how many Akupas did you see in their khaki crosses, as they call them? They all have their concubines.
Exactly. So what was
Thank
the
you.
point?
This is no, but I was coming to that. I was coming to that. But you didn't allow me. But thankfully you came in. These people, so many Akupas have their wives at home who are miserably suffering, and they're out there with their girlfriends, parading them in the Gambia, taking them to work. They don't hide. It's because they did not allow them to have 4 wives. If they had 4 wives, they would have had the same 4 wives. These Aku people. How many
And they
Aku
would still
women?
cheat. And they would
Thank
still
you. That's
cheat.
what I'm
I
saying.
know
How many?
I know of some Aku pals or Aku men who have kids with more than 4 or 5 different women. So if they had had 4 wives, they would still go.
Let me tell you something.
I
I
have
know
a
a
lot
woman.
of my
I
family
know a
members
woman.
that are Aku. So you find the Yoruba in me, you'll find the Aku in me. I am a mix of all of it. And so, you know, my grandmother, my mother's mother is Aku. I went to Catholic school, so I know. How many homes do you go to? You see a family, and you know, the man knows that there's a child in the house that it's not
Thank you very much.
theirs.
Thank you. That's what I was just coming to.
It's not theirs.
Thank you.
A man, there's all
Thank
of
you.
the siblings look the same.
Same,
there's
and then you have one odd, that
and
one
you have
oddball.
one and you just shake, and then they make excuses for it. Oh, you know, DNA is very strong.
And
It's
let
from
me tell you,
how many?
Amy, Amy, I don't
Listen,
want to
I know
interrupt you,
I
but
know
let
a
me tell
family.
you something.
I know
Faith,
a
hang on,
I
Akupa.
Faith,
want
before you
us
get to that
go.
family, let me tell you that, in fact, the Aku people, the Akupas, are the ones that would have the audacity to go out, leave the marriage, have a child, and then bring it to the wife and say, hey, here, this is my child, take care of her. And the wife is not allowed to say, Dara.
Not me. Not me, because
Well,
we
I'm
go
not
boss.
talking about you.
No.
Everybody is not fake.
Because I go boss ras.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're crossing life on my...
No, I'm not cursing. I'm just saying as it is.
Oh my God.
I'm just saying as it is. But what they tell you is, you know how many Akupas have had children like baby number 5, and no Akupa, Akumami them. Akumami, you're talking about Akupa. I'm going to the mayor lady. Akumer go get 5 picking. Then one ego the pack travel. Somebody squeaks go come doram na net. The woman get belly, the man come, is the man doram. Where you know say not to true, then born picking fever like somebody else that you cannot say. Then you go to baby number 7. The baby number 7 is born from the father. You know, so you got this oddball out. Do you know how many illegitimate bastard children are running in families in the Gambia? Do you know how many of them? It's not. No. It's bastard in the it's on the dictionary. It's the word. It's the correct word I'm using. You know. There is in the dictionary.
As be plenty of me akufambul the way you know say all the action na fan church, all the action that happen every Sunday.
What about Bishop? What about Bishop then? What about Bishop?
You know what?
You know what?
This video is just as good. It's as good as it is live. After the live video, I'm deleting it. Those that are present here will be the only people that will be privileged to this video right after the live video.
Well, you can edit it.
You can edit it.
You can edit it and just mute that.
But what I'm telling you, Melvin, in a nutshell.
Filter it out.
Yes, I will. What I'm just saying.
Oh my God.
Let me just tell you something. In a nutshell, what we have to do once we're married and committed, let us stay committed. And you know, and what we have to stay committed is be truthful to each other. And that is what I believe in a marriage. If you're not happy in the marriage, just go out and be peaceful. You understand? Go out and be peaceful, I think is better. You know?
I have a question,
That,
Faith.
yes, go on.
If you have, for us, I feel like we're older, we know better, and we can do better.
Mhm.
What
Mhm.
would you say to a teenager that's just getting into dating? What are the expectations? What would you tell them that when you go out there and you're dating, this is what to expect?
Okay.
What would you say
What
to two young adults that are of the age of dating? You know,
okay.
what would be
Okay.
their advice
Okay.
to
You
them?
know,
Because we have them out there. Maybe they're listening
yes,
and you know.
yes, you see, you've got different parameters. What do I mean by parameters is the family background you come from. I do not believe that if I come from a wealthy family, I should marry a wealthy man. No.
Okay,
Love
Abad.
is not wealth. Love is humanity. You look at the person, you get to know the person, and you want to bring the best out of the person. That is what I believe. And you can bring the best out of that person. But if you go, you also, from my experiences, you also look at the family you're marrying into. That plays a very, very, very important role in a marriage because that family has power to destroy your marriage. They have it. And you are now pulling and pushing with a man or a woman, and there's a family abreast sitting there like eagles wanting to make or destroy. Majority of the time, they want to destroy. And it's very, very heartbreaking. Very, very heartbreaking. They do not give good advice to their children once they get married because they're always digging their holes. And this is the reason why when you marry somebody, you have to be both be very truthful to each other and not keep secrets from each other. Keeping secrets from each other are very destructive. Truthfulness is a must. You know what I mean? You have to open up because the moment you agree to get married, you have to be one and understand because you have now become family. Although you're not blood family, but you are now family because you are now carrying the same name. The wife carries your name. And from my experiences is, let me put it this way, and I'm not going to say much after that. With my life and what I've been through in my life, what I've experienced, I have experienced a dip in my relationship, not with my present husband. I have been through hell and back. Sometimes I sit in my quiet moment. I want to kill myself with what I've been through. It was a very, very, very bitter experience. And I am angry. I am hurt till this very day because I have been betrayed to the highest level. And I couldn't believe that my own Gambian brother would treat me so badly because of finances, wanting, transferring wealth from me to them by force. Even till today, to this present day, I'm in court with him because of my Bentley, my X6, and my house he stole in Banjul. We're in court, and they're trying to prove who brought the finances for it. And he's saying that. I told him, even if he wanted a plane, I will buy him a plane. That's the lies. So you can see that you end up going into a total disaster. And my experience of that is not knowing, having lived in UK for so long and not knowing the mentality of Africans because I was not somebody who intermingled with a lot of Africans. I mingled a lot with Europeans because of my job and everything. I was always busy with my work. And I've had a very bittersweet experience that I will take to my grave. I have told my children. I have told Melvin. No, I've told Melvin. Melvin knows my experience. A few people who are close to me know my experience of what I've been through. And I hear things because he goes lying to them, and people believe. And why I'm saying I'm only giving a fraction of what I've been through, But I just want to finish with everything. I'm not going to say anymore. And I just want to finish because of the emotions I'm going through at the moment. Love is love. Destruction is destruction. Cheating is cheating. But in life, everybody has to be truthful to themselves and fear God. Because at the end of the day, we go back to our maker. And I see going back to my God like a why. Why do I say a why? At the end of each why, one is God, one is Satan. You go through the long path from the starting. When you come to the juncture, God is saying, Faith, what did you do in that world as my child when you were there? I have to be saying, Lord God, I tried the yardstick of being an A student to you by following your 10 commandments. Thou shalt not lie, thou shalt not cheat, thou shalt not la. I know I will never ever be an A student. No, I'm not perfect. But my gradient before I die, even if I could come to B or even C, I'll be very happy. And that is the way I conduct my life. A lot of people don't know me. They hear me, I joke, I'm a joker and things. But in my own quiet moment, I measure my yardstick vis-a-vis Faith and her God, and so that I become a happy person. So that one day when it's time for me to go, I will say, yes, I came into this world. I left my legacy, and this is what I left. And that's what I instill in my children. But I'm a Gambian. Sometimes I think, do I want to be a Gambian? Do I want to call myself a Gambian? And I waver. And I think what I suffered with a Gambian man epitomizes evilism. You know? So this is what I'm just saying is, I am finishing, and I appreciate the fact that you allowed me to come on the program. And I've just told you how my feeling, how my life was, how my life is with regards to love. And love, which wasn't intended by me, was brought by false pretense, jujuing me to get me in, has been a destruction in my life for a period of 2.5 years. But God is great. We continue to pray. Okay?
Yeah, hang on, Faith. Hang on. I'm sure Amy is gonna have some words for you. So I'll just
I
Amy,
feel
getting
for you.
emotional.
I really feel for you, Faith, and I am sorry that you had to go through that experience. I'm hoping that you find some healing and or maybe some therapy to help you go through this, because once emotionally we've been scarred, we only learn to deal with it. It doesn't go away. There may be some triggers, things that we see or hear, and it triggers us. But I'm hoping that you find healing and you find that peace, and you find your journey back to yourself, the faith that you know you can be. You're a strong woman. You're a beautiful woman. You're a hardworking woman. No woman deserves that. And I'm glad that you made it out to be able to share your story, and we appreciate that you shared, because you shared your core, you shared your pain with all of us, and it's not easy. But know that there's strength. You are strong, and you still have a voice, because you can speak for yourself and you can tell your hurt, and you can tell your story rather than somebody else telling your story. So again, I just want you to know that you're beautiful, you're strong, and you're loved.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you.
And another thing, before I step out, I just wanted to speak to any man or all of our Gambian folks, or any man that's here listening. We have it in our culture, certain things that men do for us. We have other men that see that as a weakness. When a man is attentive to their partner, is supportive of their partner, is basically adoring their partner, a lot of these men would come and say that, and so you see it as a sign of weakness. Oh, dafa yomba torop ki dafa noy ñeme ñut sax jabaram ñeme ñut girlfriend am bi gisuloo sooy waxa moom hey bala nga waxa moom sax di nga am pour laajte jàng jabar bi de because lu nekk jabar bi la moo toppa. Men go to the market for their women. Men go to the store and shop for their perfumes. They know their wives or their partners' bra sizes, underwear, lingerie, all of these things that they do for their women. It's not weakness. That is love. That is a very powerful man. That is a man. Bu leen kenn ragalloo pour toppatoo seen jigéen yi waaye it jigéen yi bu leen kenn ragalloo pour toppatoo seen góor yi. Submissiveness goes both ways, you know. Love doesn't hurt. And I'm sorry that you had to go through that. Love never hurts. It shouldn't hurt. Okay? So jigéen yi nañ góorgóorlu in that area, ñu respect. Let's respect our men. And our men should also respect us. But for a man to go above and beyond and celebrate their wives, enjoy their wives, enjoy the space, enjoy the beauty, all of that a woman has to give is by far no weakness. That I call a man. So buben góor bu ragal to go the 9 yards. And another philosophy I think like I practice in my own relationship is I always decide if I want to be right or if I want to be happy. You don't have to be right about everything. You do not have to be right about everything in a marriage or in a relationship. Sometimes you let your spouse win, okay? Sometimes you sit back, even though you are right. It's not always important to be right. We want to be right about everything. Even in having a conversation, you don't always have to be right. I'd rather be happy than be right. And I work every day towards my happiness. It's not just happen in a blink of an eye. You work towards the things that make you happy. You have to put in the work. That relationship you have to nurture. It's like a plant. Every day. Like I said, every night you go to bed, you sign a contract for the next day. That's 24 hours. How can you make your spouse better? How can you make your spouse happier? How can you make your partner happy so that they reach their full potential? I'm not going to they don't even look at other women twice. And their women may not be the prettiest, the smartest or whatever, but they have something that is so unique and special, and it is just for them and it is between them. Let's not compare our men to other men. Let's not compare our relationships to other relationships. Let's not compare ourselves to other people. But let's give by far, let's give 1000% to everything that we are committed to. Jigen neex naa defal, góor neex naa defal. It's very simple. Two human beings coming together and creating something beautiful, a lifelong of memories, a lifelong of health, a lifelong of wealth, a lifelong of emotional well-being and grounded. You know, a partnership, it's so important. So I'm just going to leave my men folk on that to reflect on. Please, bulen or beren monomigor as weak because they are there for their spouse, because they are there for the person that they love. It happens even in families. Mom dafa ragal jabar bi, njëkk yi ñëw fii nii, di nga xam ne fi nga ñëw fekka, maa ko yar, the goro comes in, maa ko yar, bala nga ko lii, you know, fii la ma fekka and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, juruloo ko pour seyal ko, danga ko jur pour mu wane sa yar bu baax bi nga ko yar. Mu indi beneen yar boobu noonu moom it mu dem yar njabootam noonu mu multiply su yàggee ñu amee whole community boo xamante ni they're happy. We have a healthier society. We have a healthier community. Now, are things going to happen? Absolutely. There's no perfection anywhere. Do I have challenges and concerns or certain issues in my own relationship? Absolutely. But I'm willing to put in the work. And I know my partner is going to put in the work. So you work at it every day. You've seen people been married for 70 years. I met a couple that were married for more than 70 years. And I asked them, how did you make it this far? The man said, forgiveness. What does forgiveness mean? Forgiveness is love. Forgiveness is love. But you can't forgive what you do not love. You have to see in the person, but then selflessness. You have to be willing to do for the other person, you know, and that person also needs to appreciate and reciprocate and do for you. And I'm not talking about giving money and all that stuff, just how you speak to your partner, just how you look at them. Sometimes nga gis nit mu buga nit be Ngasigi, you look at your partner and they're looking at you and it's like, oh, what's going on? Is something wrong? It's like, no, I'm just admiring you. I can't believe you at me. Let's give compliments. Let's appreciate compliments. Let's not be shy to be the partner that we want. Our want to see in our opposite sex. Thank you, Mel.
I've got a final question for you before you go. I've got one final question, which is
Okay.
which was one of the topic, one of the points of discussion in the thread, which is do people always end up marrying the person they love, or sometimes circumstances and situations and things happen whereby people make decisions that maybe, should I say, is they feel they know is in the best interest of both parties. So it's not an absence of love. It's, I don't know how to say, but it's just a situation, a circumstance that does not allow for two people that genuinely love each other to come together.
Yeah. So loving someone doesn't necessarily equate to marriage. I have seen people that have been married and grown to love each other or fall in love with each other. I have
Is that
also
love?
seen.
Is that love, or is it okay? What I'm confused about is there are times when you live with people, you live with a person, even if you have a roommate. I mean, I remember my closest circle now, people that I talk to all the time that I feel I can trust. Some of them are random individuals that I met in Oxford whilst I was in university. We were just put together in one house. We shared one accommodation and we grew. I mean, when we just started, imagine I was the only black guy in there. I didn't like some of the things they did. I mean, at first I felt like, they were not cleaning the bathroom properly. They were not doing things. They would leave the kitchen filthy and stuff like that. Just white boys coming home, always had their parents to do stuff. I had a different background. So we didn't get along at first. And then we found an understanding. And to be honest, these are individuals that have stood for me and have been there for me in my lowest form. And we are so close. So I liken that to like a relationship where you have like a marriage where at first people don't. I mean, if you go back into historical, take a historical journey back where the culture was that they take one man and one woman, they give somebody to you, you're going to marry tomorrow, or they give one older man, they bring one 16-year-old girl and say, get married. And you realize over the years, these people get so attached. There was no love there. Most times when they send them to go get married, they don't even want to be in that marriage. But with time, with years, they grow to love each other. And if you realize, you didn't see you didn't see a lot of divorce and separation and hatred and all these things that you see now in the modern times. So therefore, I just want to understand, is it love that comes? Is it love that, or is it an understanding? Is it a care, humanity that comes into the picture and takes over? But that bit about love, my question is, and the reason why I was asking is, that one person that that, oh, this is who I would want to spend the rest of my life with. This is who I would want to be the mother of my kids. This is the person I want to grow old with. But then deep down that circumstances, situations would never allow two of you to be together.
Yeah. So again, to answer that, it's like love on its own doesn't stand. What we call bonding, what we call growing to, that emotion that comes in. Love is acting. You have to act. You have to manifest. You have to give yourself. You have to sacrifice. Love is, it's a language that is so fluid. It's impossible to apply to just one aspect of our natural human bonding. I have seen people that you just see them together and you're like, oh my gosh, they are a perfect match. They just look so good together. Their vibe, their emotions, they speak the same language, they can finish each other's sentence. They just look so good together. But if you start peeling off those layers, there are things there, and that's where the forgiveness will come in. You will not find that whole person in there. And so you forgive and accept and appreciate that part that they bring to the table. This thing that, I'm just not, I don't bring to the table, I'm the whole table. It doesn't exist. We all have things that we are lacking in. Okay. But then you look at the majority and the things that they bring in. Is it worth pursuing? So love on its own, I get confused just like everybody. But like, what is love? I feel like love truly, the true love that I have experienced is between a mother and their child or a father and their child. I have experienced that kind of true love. I have seen man and woman love each other, but it's not without challenges. It's not without forgiveness. It's not without the incompletion. So you come in and you complete this part of the person, or at least they give you a little bit, a snippet of what it is that you're looking for. You see people like, when you look at just the physical things, I think that fades so quickly. And sometimes that's where we are hung on about what love is, their physical characters, because the shallowness comes in. But at the end of the day, if you're going through it, if you're going through a difficult time, is that the partner that will stand by you? Is that the partner that will actually be there for you, to hold you, to let you know that no matter what, they're willing to go as far as they can with you? So love is very complicated. I don't think I am not an expert, obviously, to define it, but I know it's a feeling. But I do know that it doesn't come with a whole package. You get bits and pieces here, and then you make that decision whether you're willing to take that, because you're going to have to deal with it. The human being is very stubborn, and some certain characteristics people die with. And so you are either willing to tolerate that, you know. And again, it's just working together and ironing things out together, talking it through and trying to find, and it is just like, for me, love is compromise. If I were to define love, for me, it's compromise. Because we all have our good days and our bad days, right? We have our adequacies and our inadequacies. We have our tendencies, good or bad. But it's your partner willing to hold your hand and be there for you and with you. So it's a challenge. I guess I have to go read some more and really figure out what love is. But really, the most profound love I have experienced was being a daughter and being a mother.
Yeah. Thank you.
Because
thank you, Faith.
I will put my neck on the line for my kids, and I know my mother will do the same for me.
Just
and my
do
family.
the same for you. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you
Makes
so much. Thank you for the listeners. And I'm really super sorry for the language, but I just don't have a better word for it. And Melvin,
oh no, that's perfect. I was just joking.
Let's blame it on Melvin. He put me on the spot.
No, that's perfectly okay. Faith, what are your last words?
Thank you.
Faith, what are your last words?
If you go out, basically, if you go out, you want to be in love with somebody, I just think that you have to be truthful, you have to persevere, you have to have confidence in each other, stop hiding, you understand, and truthfulness is a must. Because I feel that nowadays, you have people, you're married, you know what I mean, they're hiding their phones, you cannot touch their phones because they're not open, they don't want you to see what they're doing. Somebody who's very truthful, you will leave your phone all over the place, you wouldn't put a lock in it, you won't think, because you've nothing to hide. But the moment you start hiding things, it brings doubt in a marriage. And when there's a doubt in the marriage, there's uncertainty. You feel uncomfortable, you're always on edge. And that breeds problems, fighting, you understand? So personally, love is a commitment. And once you've got into that commitment, you work hard at it. You give your all so that it lasts. That's all I can say.
Well, thank you so very much. I think we've been here for 3 hours now. It's been quite very interesting and educative, enlightening. for me, and I guess for the people that are joining us. So I just want to say thank you very much. Thanks for sharing a part of your story. We've already decided that we're going to do, a program that would be just you showcasing your experiences and everything you've been through, just to use it as a means of sensitizing people of what things that are out there. So we'll do that. We'll plan it, and then we'll do it a proper way, probably on my page, my proper page, and get it done the right way. But thank you so much, and
Say sorry
it's
to
been.
Abai Romeo. Unfortunately, he started with the two women, pushed him out. The poor
I
soul.
know, I know. He ran away for his life, but
I
he
know.
just he had something going. So
Mhm.
that was why. But very very interesting, and thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'll just read a few comments before I end. Dr. JC say wrote, a woman will learn to bond and love when respected and cared for. Juka wrote, Juka wrote something I wanted to read. I can't. She said something quite interesting. Oh, where is it? Oh, can't find it now. Oh, I can't find it. She wrote something. Juka wrote something I wanted to read out, which I thought was. Oh, she says, I would say a woman is submissive to a great man. He will go miles to please her. I thought that was quite, quite
That's the truth.
interesting.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the truth.
And Dr. J wrote again, without the false pretenses from that guy, you would, oh, this is for you, Fred. He says, without the false pretenses from that guy, you will not have been able to identify the true love that you have now.
That is very,
So,
very true. And I thank my God for that because I've
yeah.
got a very nice man with me, a very good husband who I
Yeah.
cannot thank enough. And, I thank my God that he has brought sanity back into my life, somebody who will give me peace, not having to watch my back continuously, which I thank my God always for that.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Thank
thank
you,
you very
Mel.
much, Faye. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Mel.
And thanks to all my viewers, to everybody watching. Have a great night and God bless. Until another time. Take care.